Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to my power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone who rule well and who have taught this truth. Salutations to you, confusion of face, Akim, who may appear to be so-called white, so-called Chinese amongst others, but are actually Israelites. Salutations to all my hopeful elect all across the four winds who continue to make these videos, read your scripts, your precepts, and continue to meditate in the faith. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, Barakatham, to everybody who listens immediately. And the MIT Technology Review today has come out with a very powerful article here. And look, man, there's a reason why the so-called white man is taking these chips, because he knows that it's coming. The mark of the beast, aka the Rfid chip, is in full effect, man. It's in full effect. Here you see, it says the microchips 3 square market employees had injected in their hands are about the size of a big grain of rice. So, he put it in his left hand, but ultimately, if you put a chip in you, you're dead. You're done for. There is no way, and I cannot express this enough. If you get the mark of the beast put into you, that's it. There ain't no repentance, no nothing. Once you get marked, that's it. Because the Lord is gonna see it. What you gonna do? You gonna hide it? Are you gonna hide these things from the Most High? Like he can see everything. He's omnipresent. And ultimately he's gonna send his angels, his cherubim, to come down and see what you got going on. So if there's even a whiff, even an inkling of you thinking about getting a chip, they're going to find it out. So, to all you brothers out there thinking, oh, I have to take the chip in order to survive. Look, man, death is better than taking this chip, because to die for Yahweh Shai HaMashiach is an honor. This is not something that everybody gets to do. A lot of people are going to die, and a lot of people do die. But very rarely do they die for Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. And you can tell this guy is so excited. You just look at him. He putting the chip on his hand and shit where it was finna be. I'm going to read this, then I'm going to go ahead and bring out the precepts. It says, this company embeds microchips in its employees, and they love it. So look at these fools, man. These fools, they love the fact that they got a chip. And I was hearing little news tidbits over the past year over this here and there from different news sites. It says last August, 50 employees at 3 Square Market got Rfid chips in their hands. Now 80 have them. And Rfid is a radio frequency identification. I believe that's what it means. So it uses a radio signal in order to do all these things. So that means it can track you. That's where the money comes in through your medical information, where you live, everything about you. Your entire essence is condensed into this chip, And this is the mark of the beast. When they speak in the Bible of the mark of the beast, they're talking about that shit right there. They're not talking about a tattoo, and there's all sorts of bugged out explanations for the mark of the beast. They try to say that it's like an embargo. They try to say that it's a tattoo that you get. The list of shit goes on and on and on. But it is the mark of the beast is the Rfid chip. There is no doubt about it. And if you can't get that through your thick skull, you're getting hit with a nuclear missile. Because if you have that chip in your hand, a nuclear missile is going to hit you. Because when all this pops off, and it's very soon, we're going into nuclear war very soon, and when it all pops off, 1/3 and the hopeful elect, we're not even going to be dealing with this, with a nuke or anything like that. By that point in time, we'll be beamed up in what you would perceive as a UFO, which is actually a chariot of Israel. So while you're dealing with all these problems, man, we're not even going to be a part of this shit. We're going to be long gone. By the time y'all see a nuke, oh, there ain't gonna be no men of the Lord or people of the Lord to be found, man. Period. Because those elect those elect, those 144,000, those are all men. But those 1/3 can be men, women, and children. You understand? So your families, all the elect men of Israel, your families will be saved, and that's part of that 1/3. And those 1/3 are the people that are going to refuse to take the chip, that are going to call upon the name of the Most High. Whether they heard it from a friend of theirs or anything else. These are the people that are not going to lay down to this new world order system. And the new world order is never going to come into fruition. Actually, the new world order will be established by Yahushua HaMashiach coming down on this earth and raining death and destruction unto Edom, the heathens, and the 2/3 of our people that have turned against us. And it reads here, when Patrick McMullen wants a Diet Dr. Pepper while he's at work, he pays for it with the wave of his hand. And like I said, it's the radio frequency that is in the chip. It matches the radio frequency given off by the machine. So when those match up, you can do certain things like buy things and other things. It says McMullen has a microchip implanted between his thumb and forefinger, and the vending machine immediately deducts money from his account. So he obviously has an account that is linked to this Rfid chip. So that's what it talks about when they constantly say that money is going to be useless. You see, very soon everybody's going to be mandated to get this chip, and a lot of people aren't finna get it. They're going to die. Obviously, we're going to be killed, for Hamashiach's sake, which is, hey, that's fine by me. I'm not taking the chip. I don't care if I have to starve to death. I don't care if, I don't care if my family has to starve to death. I'm not taking the chip. And if it's up to me, and if it's up to me deciding for my family ain't taking the chip either. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's important to stay in your family's life, man. To stay in your brother's life, man. Your Akim, your confusion of face Akim, because this is your family. There is no family outside of Hamashiach Yahushai. And anybody who falls under Hamashiach Yahushai is your family, And even with my family, my distant family, they don't know anything about Israel or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not what they're on. But my immediate family, my mother and my brothers, they know all about the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, their zeal isn't as high because of their youth, and the way that they're brought up. But as far as when they see me, they understand that Hamashiach Yahushai is doing works on this earth through his men. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I constantly, try to tell them, hey, one day you might have to take a chip. Don't take the chip. Don't take the chip. The FRD microchip is the mark of the beast, And people say, oh, well, don't say that to the kids. That's going to scare them. Well, shit, they need to be scared. What happens if they take up a bunch of the men of Israel and put them to death? Who's going to be there to say that the mark of the beast is FRID microchip? Nobody, because don't nobody have that understanding. It's only the elect men of Israel that have the understanding that the FRID chip is the mark of the beast. All right. And it says at his office, he's one of dozens of employees who have been doing likewise for a year now. So this shit has been around. And it says McMullen is the president of 3 Square Market, a technology company that provides self-service mini markets to hospitals, hotels, and company break rooms. So basically, when you take this chip, let's say you go to the hotel, right, and there's a refrigerator, and it can only be opened if you got the chip. So you got the chip and you wave your hand in front of the mini fridge, and the mini fridge opens. So when you start to drink the different drinks out of the mini fridge, every time you drink it, right, it's going to deduct money from that chip. And that's what they want to do eventually. They want everything to be tied to this chip, man. And it's not going to happen. Because, hey, I'm going to tell you something. The Lord will come back before everybody on this planet gets a chip in their hand. And that's how you know that we're in the end of days, because this is just, it's so prevalent, man. I mean, everywhere you turn around, man, all you hear about is the chip. The chip this, FRID chip that. And they put it on the news all the time, man, because this is the vibration that's being pushed by the so-called white man. He wants to bring this out. He wants to bring this into fruition. You know what I'm saying? He wants everybody to take this chip, and it's not going to happen. It says last August he became one of roughly 50 employees at its headquarters in River Falls, Wisconsin, who volunteered to have a chip injected into their hand. The idea came about in early 2017, he says, when he was on a business trip to Sweden, a country where some people are getting subcutaneous microchips to do things like enter secure buildings or book train tickets. So what that is, like in Sweden, right? Let's say that you're a chip, you have a certain sort of chip, and you're a government member. So let's say you're part of the Congress in Sweden. I don't think Sweden has a Congress, but this is for argument's sake. In order for you to enter the building, you must have a certain radio frequency emitting off of the chip. So if you're a commoner, right, if you're a homeless man, you can't enter this building because your chip won't read. It won't be able to. You won't be able to go inside because the scanner it's going to say like, oh, access denied. You know, you have to have a certain radio frequency emitting off of this chip in order for the doors to open. You know, that's why it says to enter secure buildings. That's what it means. Like, let's say that in order to get into the courthouse, in order to get into the back of the courthouse, you got to have a certain frequency emitting from this chip that only the judges have, you know? So that's what it's talking about. You'll be locked out of certain things. In the future, certain restaurants you won't be able to eat at because you don't have the chip. This will be like a chip exclusive club, you know? Hey, and in Lord's will, this place gets destroyed before that ever happens. It says it's one of very few places where chip implants, which have been around for quite a while, have taken off in some fashion. The chips he and his employees got are about the size of a very large grain of rice. They're intended to make it a little easier to do things like get into the office, log on to computers, and buy food and drinks in the company cafeteria. And it says they're intended to make it a little bit easier. No, they're intended to track everything that you do. They're intended to hold all your information, and they're intended to be a new form of monetary gain, man. Imagine if you're the owner of this chip company. Well, you can make yourself a fucking billionaire because the money is not physical. You know, so you can just go into the computer. You can just say, hey, I want to give myself $10 million. And you can do that through the Rfid chip. So y'all thinking that this is just a simple thing to open up your car and shit. No, it's not. It is a complete taking away of your soul, man. If you get that chip put in you, your ass is done. Even if you get it taken out, you're still marked. You know? It says, like many Rfid chips, they are passive. They don't have batteries and instead get their power from an Rfid reader when it requests data from the chip. Okay, so the power is being emitted from the radio frequency off the device. You understand? So this shit is not, it don't even need a battery, son. So even if per se, even if you hit your hand on the chip or whatever, technically you can't break it. You're not gonna break the battery or nothing. You good. And it says McMullen's chip includes identifying information to grant him access to the building, as well as some basic medical information. And here it is. You got Esau waving his hand. It says 3 Square Market CEO Todd Westby enters the company's building by holding his microchip hand near an Rfid reader. And look, he just puts his hand up. The radio frequency matches the radio frequency given off by his chip, and the door opens. It's a very simple process. But this simple process is as evil can be. You fucking idiots that believe that this is the future. This is the beginning of your end. Because obviously the elect men of Israel, we ain't gonna be a part of this. If I can't enter a store to buy food because I don't have a chip, well, I'll starve, goddammit. You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't need to enter a building if I need a chip to get inside. That's completely asinine. Like, why would I even do that? You see, that's why the hopeful elect, our brains, and that's why I say the hopeful elect, because hopefully I'm the elect. Our brains are geared towards the truth. Our brains are geared towards Hamashiach Yahushai. Our hearts are geared towards Hamashiach Yahushai. Our souls are geared towards Hamashiach Yahushai. So the idea of us getting a chip I would rather die. I would rather be put to death than have a chip put in me. And I pray that that's how most of Israel feels, man. But most of Israel is going to perish. So that's how you know that a lot of Jake is going to get this chip. It says a year into their experiment, McMullen and a few employees say they are still using the chips regularly at work for all the activities they started out with last summer. Since then, an additional 30 employees have gotten the chips, which means that roughly 80% of the which means that roughly 80 of the company's now 250 employees, or nearly a third, are walking, talking cyborgs. You get used to it. It's easy, McMullen says. As far as he knows, just 2 Market Square employees have had their chips removed, and that was when they left the company. Sam Bingston, a software engineer, says he uses his chip 10 to 15 times a day. At this point, swiping his hand over an RFID reader plugged into his computer is no different from typing in his password on a keyboard, he says. Now, if you're too fucking lazy to type in your password on a keyboard, if you're too lazy to do that, then obviously you're not a good employee. Like, if you just need to wave your hand instead of typing in a security code, essentially you're fucking useless. And that's why most of these people have got to go. Their purpose is void. Your purpose is done for. If you take that chip, your use on this planet has ceased. So, this guy right here who uses his chip 10 to 15 times a day, you're done for. And I really hope that he enjoys seeing that missile come down and hit him. Because, it's going to happen to him. You people really do believe that you'll be able to take an FRID chip and the Heavenly Father isn't going to do something about that. Like you just going to be able to pull that off. Man, death is coming around very quickly for you people taking these chips, man. And that's a fact. Says Steve Kesselkert, Vice President of Finance, is so used to using his hand to pay for soda at work that he was annoyed when the FRID reader on the vending machine went down a couple of months ago. It's just become such a part of my routine, he says, and that's what the so-called white man wants. He wants everybody to get into the routine of using an FRID chip in order to exchange monetary value. It says the company is also exploring some ways to use microchips outside the body. McMullen says in August and September it is running tests at 2 hospitals, one in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and another in Hudson, Wisconsin, that will verify when doctors and nurses wash their hands. They will wear bracelets incorporating a chip that they can scan on an FRID reader to turn on a sink, something that has been tried before. So it's very small increments. It starts off like that. Then you'll need a chip to get into the cafeteria. Then you'll need a chip to get through each door. You know what I'm saying? It all starts off very small, man. First, it's soda. Next thing you know, you're paying your bills with the chip. When you get a divorce, they'll take your alimony through the chip. Imagine that, right? On the first of every month, you wake up, right? And your ex-wife just takes your alimony through the chip. You feel me? Like, ain't that a son of a bitch, man? You got to really think about that. Like, let's say you got child support, right? You battling in court for the child support. You go to court and they say, you know what? You have some back pay that you need to pay on your child support. They just scan the FRID reader and just take all your money. So after you leave court, you try to go to the store, but you don't have enough credits to even enter the store, so they won't let you in. You feel me? Can you imagine that, man? That's a dystopian future. It says Nick Anderson, an associate professor in public health services at the University of California, Davis, says the privacy and security of any information stored on the chips is an obvious concern. Because, that shit can be hacked. It says the information gathered by readers could give lots of details about employees' comings and goings. And someone could, in theory, ping your chip with a reader to find out what's on it. And they're going to do that. The police are going to have FRID chip readers in order to look at any information where you've been in the past hour. Like if you scanned your chip in order to enter a building, they're going to know. And they're going to write that in their investigations. They're going to write that in their police reports. Like, hey, suspect an hour ago, according to the FRID chip, was in Target. You know what I'm saying? So he couldn't have done it because Target is 60 miles away from where the crime occurred. So they're going to try to use it as well, just show me where you were on the chip. And that'll, you know what I'm saying? That'll give you your alibi. So a lot of times the police will scan your chip, and you'll use your chip as an alibi, man. That's what it'll start off as. Then next thing you know, stop and frisk will be stopping chip. You feel me? You know how in I think it's Philadelphia, the police can get out of their car and frisk you at any time. They can come and search you at any time. So in Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna have stopping chip. So they're gonna get out of the car. Okay, show me your chip. You're gonna show him the chip. He's gonna scan it. Look at where you've been. Look at what you've spent. Look at what you've done. And then he'll let you go upon your day, man. And hopefully, I pray that the Lord comes and destroys this place before any of these things that I envision come to pass, man. And it says, McMullen says only some of the information stored on the chip in his hand is encrypted, but he argues that similar personal information could be stolen from his wallet too. It says there's also the chance, and it seems certain to happen eventually, that the technology inside the employees' bodies will become outdated. Bingston, at least, is concerned about this. There may need to be a, dare I say, upgrade program or something like that. So he wants to go even farther with it. You know what I'm saying? He wants this chip to go above and beyond. So let's go down to who wrote this bullshit. There's a senior editor for the MIT Technology Review by the name of Rachel Metz. And that's the person who has wrote this article. It says, as MIT Technology Review's senior editor for mobile, I cover a wide variety of startups and write gadget reviews out of our San Francisco office. I'm curious about tech innovation, and I'm always on the lookout for the next big thing. Hey, man, the next big thing is going to be a big-ass missile coming out of the sky in order to blow your shit up. So you watch out for that, man. All these people, they feel like they're so smart. They feel like they got the next big thing. Because I know they feel so proud when they're in the office, man. Because I'm telling you, this chick right here, Metz, she probably got the chip too. I know she do. Oh, I know she got the chip. And I know she probably feel proud, when she go to pay for something. She just swipe her hand and she's like, yeah, basically I'm a bad bitch because I have a piece of metal in my arm. And obviously if these chips are emitting a radio frequency, that's going to fuck up your brain. I mean, even cell phones are constantly fucking us up. Now, all of us have a cell phone, but the radio frequency that is bouncing off of these cell phones, it's obviously affecting our health. It affects our circadian rhythm. It affects our sleep. It affects our ability to communicate with others. On a day-to-day basis, if I go anywhere, there are some people, they do not look up from their phone. They'll almost bump into me and shit, and I'm just looking at them like, yo, could you lift up your head for 2 seconds to see what's going on in the real world? But they're so enamored. Those people that are doing that, those are going to be the first people to take that chip in mass. These hipsters, like this chick right here. You can tell she's a hipster type. She got the striped shirt on with the big glasses. You know what I'm saying? With the big goofy bangs. She's the type of person, she feels like it's cool to be a nerd. You know what I mean? And that's part of being a nerd, man, is getting down with that new world order, dog. Like, if you want to work for Google, if you want to work for Twitter, you got to do weird shit, such as get these chips. Because a lot of these guys in Google and in these other places, they have the chip. And they use it, like, faithfully. I believe this is the end of the article here. Okay, great. Great. Now it's time to get on to the precepts. All right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 8. All that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Who's that Lamb that was slain? That's Yahushua HaMashiach. So when it says that all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, they're going to worship that beast, that system. And then it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So he's saying that those that have led us into captivity, they're going to go into captivity. And those that have killed us with the sword, they're going to be killed with the sword. And here's a very important part. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And who are the saints? The saints are the hopeful elect of Israel. So this is our patience and this is our faith. And it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. All right. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. And so he had power to do in sight of the beast. So that's what goes to show that the beast is like a system, because they're not going to be able to do these things without the beast say so. And the beast you can contribute as NATO, the UN. You know, these are these beasts. These are these systems that are being set up, and they'll be able to do certain things with the blessing of the beast, so to speak. Continuing, saying to them that dwell on the earth, they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So this is the time where he's going to take a lot of these so-called elect and put them to death, you know, through the guillotine, because there's a silent mission within the government to bring back the guillotine. And the reason why they want to do that is because if you don't take that chip, they're just going to put you in the guillotine. So when all of this is going on, all of this that I was reading earlier, the men of the Lord obviously are not going to be around to see a lot of these things. You know, we're going to be hid in certain places. You know, the Lord may have some of us get caught in order to put us to death. You know what I mean? But you're not going to be, you're not going to see any true death on this earth, man. Because they're going to want you to celebrate the beast. They're going to want you to worship this beast, this system. And we're not going to do it. And part of worshiping this beast is by taking this chip. And that's what I'm about to get to. Verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great. So this is everybody. So from the poorest of the poor to the richest of the rich. Rich and poor, just like I said, free and bond. So whether you are locked up in jail or you are a quote unquote free man, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And what is that mark? What we're looking at up here. That's the mark. That's the mark that they're talking about. And that no man might buy or sell. And you see he was buying and selling soda. Save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, right? And so, like I said, in order for you to access these certain buildings, in order for you to get certain medical information, there needs to be a radio frequency number that needs to be identified and matched in order to make the device open. You see? So that is the number of his name, the number of man. You understand? So somewhere within this chip, numerically, is the number of man. And this is how you know that this chip, it had to be something futuristic. Like In church, they want to say that the mark of the beast is like an actual mark, like a tattoo or something. Well, then verse 17 doesn't make any sense because it says, "And that no man might buy or sell." How the fuck you gonna buy or sell with a tattoo? How the hell are you gonna buy and sell with an embargo? That it doesn't make any sense. It has to be this shit right here. It has got to be this FRID chip. This single device right here is the difference between life and death. That little small grain of rice right there. And if you can look, I'm going to try to zoom in more. If you look at the top right here, it's black, and then on the bottom, it's clear. So this right here at the top is where they have all the, the ones and the zeros and the radio frequency pinging off, hitting the other devices. Because when you have that chip in your hand, if you walk by a certain building, it'll promote a certain advertisement just for you. Let's say you have diabetes, right? And the chip knows that you have diabetes. You may walk past an advertisement screen and it'll play it'll play an advertisement for a diabetes medicine because it can read the radio frequency that's coming off of your chip. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to custom tailor it to you. That's why they're trying to make it real personable. You know what I mean? They're trying to make it you feel like this is a good thing. So I'm going to read 17 again. And then no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the name or the number of his name. And all that's going to be incorporated into the chip. The name of the beast obviously is going to be inside of the chip. You know what I mean? Because the so-called white man, he's going to want to take, he's going to be prideful about this. So he's going to want to take credit. So, the radio frequency might give off, a certain number. And it says the number of his name. So whenever you scan it, you're going to see numbers 0110110 011 666 So you see what I'm saying? So he's going to sneak that number in there. And scholars argue whether the number of man is 666 or 616. That doesn't fucking matter. Either way, that mark of the beast is what they're talking about. And here's where it gets crazy, man. Verse 18. Here is wisdom. So once again, you're not going to understand wisdom unless you're part of the hopeful elect, right? So it says, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of man. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Right? So that's the number. So obviously, that number, right, 666 is somehow going to be incorporated into this chip, right? Through the numbering and there's a lot of advanced technology that goes into this chip, but it's all gonna be based upon the premise of the number 666. So that is about it on that. So just watch out, man. Watch out, man. And when I say watch out, man, I mean to the men of Israel. I don't give a fuck if an Edomite takes the chip. Hey, that just means his destruction is coming faster, which means I'm getting out of this place faster. The hopeful elect of Israel, we hate being here. We hate doing these videos. You know what I'm saying? We hate all this shit because, first of all, we know that this is coming to pass and nobody cares. You know what I mean? So that's why we hate making the videos. Because we know that 2/3 of our people, they don't give a fuck anyways. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we hate it. It's not that I hate making the videos. It's just I hate the fact that most people are going to ignore them. Because here it is. You got pranks on YouTube getting 300 million views. Yet you got people giving real information, right? And they're trying to hide it. Certain algorithms they put in place so that when you type in the video name, it'll take you to another place. Man, they really don't want this truth to come out. But through Yahweh Shimi Shai, he's given the elect men of Israel a way in order to reach each other. Through this unicorn, aka the internet. So I'm just gonna zoom in real slow on this chip, man. You know, the elect of Israel, y'all look at that, man. Y'all look at that. This is the difference between life and death, brothers. That small chip. And when it gives off that radio frequency, the number of man is going to be attached to it. You know? And, you just stay ever vigilant. You know, the watchmen of Israel, we're constantly going to speak against these things. I constantly speak against the mark of the beast, which is the Rfid microchip. You know what I mean? So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash, for revealing this truth unto me, for revealing this truth unto the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the elders, on down to the Akim, on down to the confusion of faith, Akim. And I just want to say shalom to the elect.